Hey everyone, so I want to make this video to talk about art improvement and just look at the art and how I've improved and look at these two images side by side and see how I've improved over the years, what mistakes I've made, and how I fixed them, cause this bitch is all about improvement and how you can improve and all that fun stuff, and so how your art style can develop to not look like a sack of potatoes, which is what mine looks like before. Still kind of does, but oh well. So if you take these two photos side by side, you can probably tell which one is obviously better, just mainly because of the structure and composition and all those words that I really don't know the meaning of. So let's first take a look at the art that I made in 2016 and just how nasty it is. Let's just look at the hair for 1 minute. Where is the light coming from? And also, it just looks bad because I drew it like a big chunk of hair, and then inside I tried to shade it as if there were like individual strands of hair, which is something you really shouldn't do because of the contrast in styles. I also have this weird like line of highlight in the hair, and it just sort of like makes me question where the hell the light source is coming from, because the shading is just sort of all over the place. Also, if you look at the line art, it looks nasty and really messy and shaky and bad, because I just didn't use the tool where it's like the pressure sensitivity tool. Like, you don't have to, but I'd recommend it just to make things look kind of better. And come on, I could have cleaned up the line art, but I didn't, because yes. And also, what you can kind of tell in this is I shaded using black, which is something you should really not do if you're going to use the style of shading that I did. If you use like cell shading, that's fine because like it kind of works with that. But if you use like black to shade and then blend it in, it'll just look like a muddy mess, and disgusting and gross, and your color will not look appealing whatsoever. So I recommend just using shading either with a cooler darker tone, or a warmer darker tone. I prefer warmer just because that's like, it looks better to me, but you can always go with whatever you want. I still have no idea how shading works, so I can't really help you there, but just don't shade with black. Also, I have like kind of a cold, so sorry if I sound like I have AIDS! Let's also look at the anatomy of the drawing that I made. What the heck is going on with the nose? It's like a line. It looks real bad. And the eyes are very uneven. If we were to compare these two images, you can clearly see that the anatomy on the right is more structurally sound. And the way you can kind of test it out is just put simple lines on top and then take the background out and just look. The eyes are uneven, the neck is thick, it looks weird and gross and chunky, and the right just looks like better. And I'm not saying that you have to like make your drawing like look super realistic. I tried to recreate my old drawing in the style that I was going for originally, and that just goes to show that your drawing doesn't have to be realistic by any means. The proportions just have to match up and sort of balance and even each other out so it doesn't look as bad. Here are some epic pro tips that I have laid out that you can kind of follow and abide by to even like accelerate and expedite. Yeah, is that a word? I don't know. Expedite the process of improving. So, step 1 is to get off Tumblr, you libtard. Let me just epically wreck you right here. So, the reason why I'm saying this is because Tumblr is sort of a breeding ground, and I'm not just blaming it on Tumblr. Like, everyone knows about the Tumblr art style, or like, I'm talking about like Tumblr, DeviantArt, like all those art sites where like literally half the people draw in the same way, and honestly, half the time it doesn't even look bad, but these people just draw with very little variation, and you're just gonna be stuck sorry, you're just gonna be stuck in a place where not a lot's going on, and you don't really see a lot of different styles popping all out. Like, getting off, like, sites where it perpetuates a similar art style, it'll help you branch out, and, you'll be looking at different art styles that aren't just weird anime event art. Alright, step 2, references are cool when you're trying to draw, and they're much better than bases or tracing, 100% better than all that. Because, guess what? You're on your own, and references will help you learn, and it'll help you get an understanding of light and shadow and proportions and anatomy and composition and all that stuff. And as you can see, I tried to make a little drawing sketch boy, and it's very sketchy and very bad, but you can kind of get my point. It's better than a base, better than tracing. And another good method that you can do is work from reality by getting your image that you want to reference, making like a more realistic approach, and then dumbing it down to be more stylistic and in your style, so that way you can just get the basic proportions down and not make it look nasty. Expand dong XD. So what I mean by this is expand your art style, or not your art style, just like draw different things in different styles, and it might suck and it might look terrible, but that's okay, because in the long run it'll really help you, and it'll really help you branch out, and it'll help you like draw something that isn't like, you know, a 3/4 headshot of an anime girl every single time, you know. And you might hate it and it might be terrible, but just know that it's good for you, okay? Alright? Thank you. And the final tip is just to chill out, chillax, just lay down home slice, because there's this thing called art block that we all get, and whenever I have it, I get the type where it's like I can't draw anything original, and I end up like anything new that I try to draw just looks terrible. And so the best thing to do is just take a day off, just like think about your life, chill out, and just, you know, take a break from all that, so you can just think about the void and existentialize. And those were my tips on how to improve your art, and they're not perfect, and I'm going to link some videos in the description that were way better at explaining how to be good at this stuff, but these were just my 2 cents, and yes, thank you. Subscribe to cure my terminal illness.